like taken beautiful ancient teachings and culture, ritual and practice, and stolen it, appropriated it, felt entitled to it. I'm talking about a wellness that has been commodified by capitalism, right? That said that if you want to be well, you have to pay for it, right? A wellness that has been whitewashed. I mean, you just need look in any magazine, or just look around the room, y'all. Like who's here, right? Who can afford to be here, right? Who's teaching, right? And this is so much a part of the work that you do, Ale, right? Is really name who's missing in the room, right? And whose wisdom do we need to uplift, center, and follow, right? If we actually really all want to be well. And so I'm curious, like, what does it look like for us? And I feel like, and the other thing I love that you do is you have like real practical practice and praxis around how we do this, right? How do we get beyond the privilege of wellness, right, towards the practice of us all being well together? So what are some of the practices and the tools that you work with when you travel around the country and you teach people how to be an active participant in closing the gap?
I'm gonna breathe. I did a training last year with Michelle Cassandra Johnson, who's been here in the past. If you don't know her, Skill in Action. She taught me about the tool of the sacred cause, so we're gonna take one now. Okay, this is a big question. It's loaded, but I feel like y'all already started getting there, so I appreciate that. For me, yoga, I study with Dharma Mitra. For him, for us, for Dharma yoga, the goal is self-realization. To know yourself. If I hadn't done yoga, I wouldn't realize I was trans. So for me, yoga, and I didn't mean to be like, there's no queer trans people here. If you're in the community, you're here and you're valid. I didn't mean to like erase your identities. What I meant is there's not enough of us here, and I live in Asheville, and there's a huge queer and trans community in the city, and why are they not here? That was what I meant. So for me, yoga has been about going within, finding my well-being and self-study, svadhyaya. And so, I probably said that wrong, I'm still working on it. That's where it has to start for everyone. Like owning, first truly seeing yourself. Like beyond the Lululemon leggings and the pressure to shop at Athleta and the pressure to buy it's not even a $100 yoga mat, it's like a $200 yoga mat. Who are you beyond these ideals of who a yoga practitioner is, or who a human being is, or even who a queer and trans person is? Like, do you have the dyke haircut? Like, who are we beyond who we think we're supposed to be, or who we think society needs us to be? And then like sitting with that, and that has been really uncomfortable for me. Like way more uncomfortable than putting my foot behind my head. And so, if you're trying to be in a space with folks who aren't like you, how are you knowing yourself? Because you can't be in community with anybody else if you can't be in community with yourself. So like, folks come to me and they're like, I want to learn how to teach yoga for everybody, for fat bodies, for plus size bodies. And I'm like, first of all, don't say plus size, it sounds like Ann Taylor in the 90s. We could say fat, we could take the word back, it's fine. We took back queer, it's fine. But you can't be advocating for another community if you don't know how to be in community with those people. And if you're awkward, like, you should just watch a TV show. Educate yourself from a distance, go on YouTube, do some Googling. Dharma calls it Swami Googlenanda. Do some research before you try to be friends with people, because then I don't need you asking about what's in my pants the first time we meet. Yeah, you think that doesn't happen, it does, okay? Like, okay, it happens. People are still doing it. Like, don't use the word tranny, but people don't know that because they're not friends with people who have these identities. So then they're out here doing wild shit. So in order to not do wild shit, just look at yourself, get quiet, go to the river. There's like 2 in Asheville. Sit for 5 minutes and breathe. Did I answer the question kind of?